me get some coffee in me, boy. Yeah. Hey, how we doing? Yo! Previously on Kimba TV. Those are all pretty good guesses, but you're looking at about like the final target would be like 104, 105. Yeah, like 105. Hey, clip this. Dink, dink, dink. I mean, that's as failed auction as you're gonna get, boy. That's as failed auction as you're gonna get, my boy. Yeah, make sure you get caught up on the Discord stuff first. Because I'll kick it with you guys for like an hour, maybe like an hour and a half. And so, you have time to read the Discord stuff and then ask me questions moving forward. So definitely get caught up before I leave, okay? Kasorik says, so I wanted to take that failed auction retest short, not a single div though, so I didn't take it. Yeah, you don't really need to look for a div on a failed auction. A failed auction is structural edge, right? So if you were gonna take, so just kind of what did I say exactly? I don't even remember what I said in the Discord post. Let me see what I said exactly. So take a look at the Discord post. Just like any failed auction structure, failing to hold value area high after breaking out would result in rotating back to the other side of value. And in this case would probably mark the beginning of our journey further down to our 85K zone on the higher time frame. So you just said value area high. I'm sure you guys can all see it. Value area low. Okay. Basically, you can pull fibs, but that's your stop loss, you know? And then there's two ways you can play it, right? You can take that one. You can take the golden pocket getting lost, or you can take the value, the low getting lost. So you have one entry, second entry, third entry if you wanted to take the short. Alrighty, but you don't need a div on a failed auction structural edge. Yeah, and remember what we talk about. Today is like not necessarily all of the yearly stuff, but it's options expirations too. So you want to prioritize S&P. All right. So yeah, next time Kasoric, you don't need to wait for a div. You wait for the structure to confirm, okay? And then S&P confluence would be good enough. All right. Oh no, Bono, what's going on? But did you get to read the thing? I said probably one of the easier Christmas breaks to trade. Yeah. So pretty straightforward. The last 2-3 Christmases, I feel like were a little bit more manipulation. This time it was just math. It's almost like the market makers are kind of away right now. Ricky, what's going on? Aetherna, what's going on? Daywalker, what's going on? Dr. Manhattan, what's going on? Chalub, what's going on? Happy 420, what's going on? Yanni Boy says he was 60K in profit a few days ago. Yeah, I don't know why people don't put stop loss in profit, but if anything, Yanni, I hope people are learning. You know what I mean? On what you're not supposed to do. You know what I mean, Yanni? It's easy to juice the fuck up. Okay? The harder part is to actually realize the profits without letting your greed take over. You know what I mean? You got to just take a look at the levels and be objective. And I always tell you guys this too, but trust what you see. You know what I mean? Like if you see the fucking thing failing and doing a failed auction, you got to trust it. You can't let your greed make some sort of sense of it and be like, no, it's gonna go back out. Nah. You gotta go with what the markets give you. So, how many of you, hands up if you guys watched the YouTube video that I shared in Kimba's Den? Motherfucker
Shout out
basically told you the
Kimba.
same thing, didn't it?
Let's get it. Kimba was popping.
Trust what you see. Be objective. You know. Kanaki, thank you for the resub. Bastani. Mogai says we might get that 82 by New Year's. Well, you're never going to be able to time anything. So just take it level by level. You see how, like, on my Discord post, I was objective and I said this is what it would need to do for the bullish side. It had to hold value area high, right? But I also explained to you guys what it would mean if it failed to break out of that value, right? And do a failed auction. And look what it did. Yeah, so the next level of interest would be like that 92.9. So we got to take it level by level. What if it swing fails those lows at 92.9, Mo guy? You got to be objective, right? So level by level, level by level. You never want to get too carried away and start to, make shit up on your own. You feel me? All right. Dr. Manhattan says, I didn't TP my long fuck. That's okay, Dr. Manhattan. Yeah. Were you here for my when I said that was going to be my... Make sure you get caught up on the Tuesday one, but that was my first TP, right? The 101. Look at that. Yeah, and then make sure you get caught up. But we talked about, okay, pixel perfect golden pocket. I mean, this is all shared in the Discord. But we said, awesome. Pixel perfect golden pocket, swing fail. We're back above value. And I said, if we're going to go higher, we have to turn value area high into support. And I said, you cannot fail. And I said, if you do fail, bare minimum, you're going to obviously look for the other side of value. But this would probably indicate, because of this context, bearish retest. With that context, you're probably going to be looking for a lot lower. All right. And then right now, obviously, we're just pixel fucking on the 7.5. So, yeah. And then, S&P options expirations and people selling off their positions. Bugama's very bearish. So, all right, Dr. Manhattan. But shared it about 6-7 hours ago. So make sure you get caught up, okay? And more importantly, read how I broke everything down so that you can kind of see it for yourself, Dr. Manhattan. Everything that happened, very, very, very simplistic. Okay? So, Yanni Boy says, worst case scenario, realize profit and jump back in. Yep. Mosley says, the YouTube was very nice input. Thanks, Kimba. Yeah, and how nice is it that it's something that we always talk about, So, it's not just my dumbass telling y'all that, right, Mosley? I mean, a 60-year Wall Street veteran talking about the same thing, so. Schwiggity, 10 Bind says, came across that interview a week ago. Yeah, it's, you know Mr. Rizzer, Words of Wisdom, he's in Kimba Gang, right? So we always want to support our fellow Lions. Yeah. Probably will have him as a guest when we do the streamathon. You guys know who Words of Wisdom is? Huh? You know who that is? Dahmer, thank you for the resub. Hyphy Mikey says, "What does S&P expirations have to do with BTC?" I'm surprised that as a lion that's been here for so long, you don't know. But basically, why do we look at traditional markets, Hyphy Mikey? Traditional markets indicate market sentiment. So do people want to be risk on or risk off? Do people want to be in positions or do they want to close positions? All right. Do they want to have money in the market or do they not? Yeah. So we always look at traditional markets because if people don't want to be bullish on S&P, which is probably the safest asset if you wanted to, gamble, then nobody is going to be bullish on Bitcoin either, which is the shittiest and riskiest asset. So if people's appetite for risk is off, then it's going to be off for Bitcoin as well. All right. So anytime, like, why did we look at S&P Confluence all of FOMC week, right? Why do we look at S&P Confluence during CPI week? All right, Hyphy Mikey, it's a pretty common thing that we've done. So definitely get caught up on like FOMC highlights, okay? LH47 says, "Where is the best place to get along?" Have you identified all the levels to the downside with us, LH? Like some people might even say right now. It's at the 7.5. So from a mathematical perspective, if it was going to bounce from here, what are the targets that you would expect it to maybe think about taking like a head short if you were bearish? Some people are going to try to take a short of the golden pocket getting turned into resistance. Some people are going to look for VWAP and the 0.5 to get flipped as resistance. A lot of it will depend on S&P. Okay? But not trying to be mean, but most of the time, if you're asking a question like that, you're not ready to take that long. Does that make sense? You always want to be one step ahead of the game. Think of it like chess, right? Imagine if you played chess and you were reacting to what your opponent was doing instead of anticipating what your opponent was going to do and basing your move off of that, right? So if you're reacting, it's already too late, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Oh man, but this is what I mean when I say the data looks good. This is just normal shit, is it not, chat? Is it not, chat? Or is this just completely randomness? Is this math? Is this edge? What are we doing? Talk to me. This is what I mean by the data looks good.
Latuche, motherfucker, the math is the math.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, like, let's say, for example, you're bearish. I mean, you're not going to take a short down here, right? You're not going to take a short down here. You might want to think about a daily open or VWAP, right? And then if you were going to take a short, what would you want to see right here? What would you want to see if you, let's say, for example, you were going to look for a short at the daily open or a mathematical rotation at the 0.5 or the VWAP? What would you want to see from a data perspective to know? You would want the shorts to close, right? If you wanted to take the short. There you go. You guys get it. Yeah, so that's what I mean by the data looks good, as in it's helping you. All right, makes sense? Is this shit starting to make sense, y'all? Look for, what are the three edges that we like to look for, chat? Structural edge, right? That was the failed auction play. You might be getting open interest play, right? On this one. You definitely want S&P Confluence, right? You guys doing okay? I think, like I said, I think it's pretty straightforward, man. You know? So shout outs to people that have a scalp long just now, right? Shout outs to people that took the failed auction short. Nexus says, wait, King, why I want to wait for shorts to close. Just like how if you want to long, you want the longs to close. If you want to take a short, you want the shorts to close. Because if you take a short here and none of these guys have stopped out, they're going to be underwater. They're going to be underwater. Do you really want to take a short if they haven't gone stopped out yet, which means that there's more room to squeeze and liquidate? Does that make sense, Nexus? If you take a short here and these guys are still open, you are hopping onto a sinking boat. You're hoping that they're not gonna pussy out on you and market close and then pump it even higher on your ass. Yeah, man. And obviously, like, you could look for top longers too. You could look for top longers too, but you should probably want to get underwater positions stopped out. You never want to be in a boat with underwater positions. Makes sense? Because you're at the mercy of them not pussyfooting out on you. Zolyar says, where are you longing from? We're in shorts, Zolyar, so I want you to join the Discord, exclamation Discord. All right. And then on the left-hand side, it'll say Kimba's Den. All right, Zolyar. So read everything that I shared about 6 hours ago. Sounds good, big boy? And then if you really want to know where we would long from, definitely make sure you watch the Tuesday and the Monday stream, okay? So like some of you guys are scalp longers. I'm really not a scalp longer, right? So some people might be longing from the 7.5. Some people might be longing from the 8.86 right here. All right. But it's not, for me, it's not really like a here's where I would long. It's more like this is why I would long. You know what I mean? So if S&P looks bullish, if you've got a CVD divergence, if open interest is showing that bottom shorters are getting trapped. You know what I'm saying? It's for me, it's never a I'm going to long or short here. It's more of a why I'm going to long or short here. It's the edge. Alrighty. That will kind of help you not get stopped out right away, for example, because maybe you're looking for like you identified a level that you want to long. However, you realize that the early longers are already come in. So for example, OGs and veterans, let's help out the Lion Cubs. If you are looking to long a level, but you see a bunch of early longers coming in, what usually happens? That's when you might get a 3 drives, or that's when you might get a trident. But those early longers will usually get stopped out. So that level is correct, but you're gonna wait until there's a little bit of a better edge. Make sense? And a lot of that has to do with how many times you've seen it too. You know, that's just experience. All right, so we always talk about things like you don't want to be the first guy down the zombie infested hallway, for example. Alrighty. Ket says, how tight of stops do you usually set? It depends on the exchange. So Kets, what I do is, and I've shared this in the Discord and the Twitter too, but I get into the same trade on multiple exchanges. On some, I close the whole thing at TP1. On some, I close the whole thing behind the 382 retracement. On some, I close the whole thing behind the 0.5. On some, I do it right behind the golden pocket. So it all depends on which exchange. All right, but definitely get caught up on the highlights, and I explain all this too. And I encourage you guys to try these things too. Stabedi says BTC dominance taking a huge hit. Yeah, you know what that means. You know what that means, right, Stabedi? That boy Mario says alts are responding good at this. There you go. There you go. And we looked at ETH BTC, and not only that, but we're prepared for that too, right? Chat. Kiltrosity says getting closer to alt season. Yes. And so what did I say first thing in the morning? This is why it's so important people rewind, right, Kiltrosity? Right? How long have we been talking about this? You feel me? Does it surprise you guys? Right? And why do you think January FOMC is so important? Right? So let's be prepared, chat. You know, don't get so caught up on the scalp longs and scalp shorts. I would rather, you guys are focused on being prepared for the higher time frame shit. You know what I mean? So don't get so caught up in the day to day that you completely whiff on the higher time frame juice. You feel me? I mean, I hope some of you guys are looking at shit like DOT and understanding, hey man, y'all have plenty of opportunities to get this juice now. Y'all better be excited. You know what I mean? Choo. And yeah, like I said, as we start to get a pullback, right? I don't know if we're going to go to 85 right now. I don't know if we're going to go to 82 right now. We're going to take it level by level. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's get it. All right, I got like 10 minutes left before I gotta go. Any last minute questions, y'all? Bio says, how Discord VIP? Exclamation VIP. Yeah. But learn before you can earn, okay? If you're a brand new lion cub, if you don't really know what I'm doing, if there were elements in Kimba's den that you don't understand, work on learning those things first, okay? You don't have to just jump into the Discord VIP and try to like copy trade. You're still gonna fuck up. You know what I mean? Cause think about like there were some there were still OGs and veterans, even though I gave the bearish scenario and it played out pixel perfect. There were still some people that were in longs that didn't TP. There were some people that were short that were bearish that still didn't want to take it and wanted higher, right? So I'm never going to be able to convince your subconscious. All right? And so the most empowering, the best thing that you could do is to start to understand what the fuck I'm talking about, you being able to understand it and see it for yourself, and you decide if you want to long or short something. Okay? Because let's be real. And some people, I mean, you don't have to raise your hand, but there's going to be hundreds of lions that had longs, and even though I said, hey, this is how a bearish scenario would play out, they still didn't close their long. You know, in the Discord, I gave pretty much pixel for pixel, structure for structure. And it's not like I made it up. It's by the book shit. Okay? You broke outside of value and you had a failed auction. That's fucking bearish. There were motherfuckers that were bearish and were looking for a short and still didn't short that. Okay? So you've got to be able to see it for yourself and you've got to be able to understand it. Okay? Cobalt says, but why are you so sure about going to 80s? Cobalt, nobody said that I'm so sure about it going to 80s. So if that's how you interpreted it, you got to get caught back up. How can anyone be sure about anything if we can't even see the data, Cobalt? Okay? So what would be one thing? So scenarios all have probabilities, okay? The probability of it going to 80s is at, let's say, for example, 53% right now, okay? What are some things that can make that probability go lower? And what are some things that make it increase? Okay, Cobalt. So what is it doing right now, Cobalt? Do you understand that for Coinbase, it pixeled 886. That's the 886. You know that, right? You understand that that's the 886? It's pixel perfect 886. So for example, is this not normal? Isn't that normal? Isn't this normal? Don't get fucking bullish on me when it does this. Okay? So if it does this, does the probability, and it makes a higher high, does the probability of going to 82 increase or decrease? If it does this and it makes another lower low, does this increase or decrease the probability of it going to 82? There is no, I'm sure that it's going to do this. We've never, ever talked about we're sure that it's going to do this. It's always level to level. Okay? Makes sense? So if you think that I articulated anything about being sure about anything, then you gotta get caught back up, brother. Okay? Every scenario has its correlating probabilities, and the way in which we interact at a level, how much time we spend above or below a level, how many, longers or shorters gets trapped, what the S&P order flow looks like, all of that is going to dictate the probabilities of levels increasing or decreasing. Like, let's say, for example, we're doing this. Okay, like let's say, for example, we're doing this. I don't know if Sato is going to top long right here. I don't know if a bunch of dumbasses end up top longing right there. Well, guess what? Then there's a higher probability they have to get stopped out. That's going to put more pressure on buyers to actually step in and buy right here. So we need to watch the reaction here then, right? But how can we know if top longers come in, or maybe if shorters start to come in and they get squeezed right away? You can't predict the future, brother. Okay? That is why it is so important you can read the data yourself. Because we can't, you have to be able to react. Oh shit, top longers came in. Oh shit, bottom shorters came in. Because that is what's going to dictate the probabilities. Does that make sense? So that is why if you're just somebody that tries to like copy trade or read what somebody has planned out, but you have no fucking clue how to read data, that's how you fuck up. That's how people will be like, but I thought you were gonna long there, and then what do I always say? But the data didn't look bullish at all. Why would you long? Why would you just blindly long if it doesn't look bullish? You feel me?
You just said.
Sometimes people will be like, I thought you were going to short there. Yeah, if the data looked good, if there's that's why, like, when people ask, hey, where are you going to long? Where are you going to short? What is my answer? I'm never longing or shorting a level. I'm longing or shorting an edge. A reason to long, a reason to short. Yeah, so you just got to take it level by level. Now, for those of you that have seen this, okay, 886 bouncing, you could have a bearish retest at the 75786, but from a mathematical perspective, where should it go? You're going to have most likely, you're going to have a bearish retest at the golden pocket. Okay? So if you're bearish and you really want to short, you would be thinking to yourself, oh man, not only is the VWAP going up there, but that's also the golden pocket. So that might be your bearish retest short. You feel me? So you need to see what the reaction is here. You understand? What would be something that says, oh shit, we're actually bullish? What would be something that makes you say, oh shit, we're actually bullish? So we would want structure. Okay, well, you guys know what I'm going to draw right now. This is the downward trending trend. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if this blasts through, golden pocket and or the VWAP, and it's not like a simple, then you know that that is going to be what you're going to be looking at for a potential long. Does that make sense? So if this happens and it does something like this and we get back inside value, okay? If we get back inside value, then that's bullish. And the probability of going to 82 is significantly less. Does that make sense, Cobalt? But how the fuck does anybody know what the fuck is going to happen, my boy? So you got to be able to identify these levels, anticipate, and then react accordingly. But everybody, whether you understand it or aware of it or not, do you guys understand that we all have subconscious biases? So if you're more bullish than I am, you're probably going to take the bearish retest instead. You know, if you're more bullish than I am, you might enter a lot earlier, right? You might enter along, before a bullish retest happens. All right. So anticipate, plan, be objective, have a bullish plan and a bearish plan. All right. But nobody knows what's going to happen. Every scenario and possible outcome has a probability. And with every level that gets tapped, with every position and open interest that comes in, the probabilities fluctuate and they change. All right. So that's why being able to look at the data and remember what it signifies and how it impacts your probabilities is the best way to trade. Does that make sense? King, stay safe, all right? Love y'all, man. Yes, sir. Robinacci Burgix. Players, have a great weekend. Happy holidays.